NaNoWriMo, the nonprofit organization, is shutting down, and after the last two videos I've made on NaNoWriMo, that's probably for the best. From allegedly allowing predators to lurk in their writing forums to accepting really scammy sponsors and also supporting AI writing as a solution to racism, NaNoWriMo has had a really rough few years. Now I want to start this video off by saying I'm really disappointed about all this. NaNoWriMo was a really great opportunity, and when it was good, it really helped me find a writing community and get into writing. That being said, after all the controversies that this organization was involved in, I think it's for the best that it is shutting down because it was a ticking time bomb waiting to go off once again. Now, before I dive into this shutdown and the email that NaNoWriMo sent to its participants, I do want to emphasize, like I do in every video I make about NaNoWriMo, you can still participate in the NaNoWriMo challenge to write 50,000 words in the month of November if you want to. You don't have to do it with the organization. And in fact, now that the organization is shutting down, I hope that a lot of people will be more inspired to take on this challenge next November, because I do think this challenge does have a lot of benefits, and I really enjoy the community around this challenge. Even before all these NaNoWriMo controversies, I would actually typically take on NaNoWriMo on my own. I wouldn't do it through the organization, and I really hope people do continue to do that because I really enjoy it. In fact, a lot of writers actually took on different challenges this November to try to distance themselves from the organization. So I really wonder if some of those writers do come back now that the organization is no longer going to be associated with the challenge because they're shutting down. Now let's really break down this shutdown and the email that NaNoWriMo sent, because while I wasn't really expecting NaNoWriMo to shut down, it makes a lot of sense in hindsight. NaNoWriMo announced it to be shutting down via email on March 31st, 2025. So for those of you who saw this announcement on April 1st and weren't sure if this was an April Fool's joke, I assure you this is real. Although, not for nothing, after all their other publicity nightmares, I could actually see NaNoWriMo faking their own death and then being shocked why they lose the few supporters they still had. So yes, NaNoWriMo is shutting down, and that's pretty much all you really need to know about this topic. That being said, I found the email they sent to us to be pretty interesting, and I really want to discuss it more in this video. The main reason in this email for why NaNoWriMo is shutting down is a lack of funding, or at least they say they're suffering from a lack of funding, as a bunch of nonprofits are really struggling to currently get enough funding. At least according to them. I probably believe that a lack of funding is one of the reasons why NaNoWriMo is shutting down, but it's definitely not the main reason. I 100% believe that NaNoWriMo was really struggling to raise funds, but they kind of word it in a way where this is more of like an economy thing, where like people are just struggling to fund nonprofits, while in reality, the reason why NaNoWriMo can't raise funds is because of their own recent actions. NaNoWriMo never seemed to have any issue with funding in the past until they picked up a gun and shot themselves in the foot with controversy after controversy over and over and over again, until now nobody seems to trust them or even want to be associated with them. I mean, when I did my 50K writing challenge in November, I felt the need to emphasize over and over again at the start of the video and throughout that I was not associated with NaNoWriMo and I was doing the challenge on my own. I mean, after the first controversy, which I don't want to get into too much detail about in this video, but it involved minors being groomed on their writing platforms, of course, nobody wanted to donate money to NaNoWriMo. Now, they continue to talk in this email about how they hoped their nonprofit would survive because of the strength of the writing community, but they forget to mention that they alienated almost the entire writing community when they supported AI writing. And honestly, looking back, I think the main reason why they did support AI writing is after their first major controversy, they could not get anyone to donate money, and the only places willing to give money were these scammy AI companies. So they kind of gave in to try to get a little more revenue. Well, I guess revenue is the wrong word there because it is a nonprofit, but I do want to emphasize right here that just because a company is a nonprofit doesn't mean people are not getting paid from that company. I feel like that's a really common misconception. Founders or employees can still make money off nonprofits. I do think that's really important to note here. I'm not accusing NaNoWriMo of anything, but I do wonder where all this money was going at points. Again, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I just find it pretty interesting because you'd think something like NaNoWriMo would be pretty cheap to upkeep. And I think that's definitely worth noting since they're shutting down due to lack of funds. I mean, other writers on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube hosted their own writing competitions in replacement for NaNoWriMo, and none of them seem to need as many funds as NaNoWriMo did. And sure, NaNoWriMo does have the website where you can track your progress and other people's progress, but at the end of the email, they kind of hint that there was not that much upkeep taking place on that website, so it just makes me ask questions. Now, if you'd like to see me do a deeper dive on NaNoWriMo, let me know in the comments. I will gladly do that if that's something you're interested in. Although, if there's not a lot of interest, I'm very content with this being the last video I do on NaNoWriMo, at least the organization. Now, getting back on track, the email continues to focus on how losing NaNoWriMo is going to be a blow to the writing community. And honestly, I agree. Before all their controversies, NaNoWriMo brought so much energy and inspiration to the writing community. I really found that when I was first getting started on Instagram building my writing platform, that the camaraderie of NaNoWriMo really helped me get started. And I totally agree that that positive writing community is a great thing, and I hope it continues to do its thing. And one thing I found to be really encouraging about this community is even though this November NaNoWriMo really seemed to die off, my NaNoWriMo content was not doing that great, at least the content where I was actually trying to do 50,000 words, because people weren't really wanting to support NaNoWriMo. There were still so many other writing challenges popping off, and it just showed that the writing community can still come together without this organization and without this event of NaNoWriMo. If there's any positives to take away from all of this, it's just how strong the writing community has become on the internet. I'm actually considering starting a writing challenge of my own at some point. I really haven't thought of what I want it to be, so let me know in the comments if you have any ideas for that. I don't think I want to do it in November because I felt like there are so many different writing contests going on in November, and I really want to participate in other people's events, but maybe sometime during the summer, because I know NaNoWriMo used to have some summer events, maybe I'll do something like that and really bring the community together, maybe create a Discord server, something like that. Not really sure what it's going to look like, but I definitely plan on doing something like that at some point. Maybe I'll even make a website or an app as like a computer science type project as I'm trying to build my resume, where you can really like track your progress and stuff like that. So let me know what features you think would be really good for that. Which reminds me, at the end of this email that NaNoWriMo sent to all its participants, there was a note that if you're trying to get your data from the site, to be patient because it is acting pretty glitchy right now. And they were kind of talking about how the site was not being upkept so well. And that's what really made me wonder, like, what the money for NaNoWriMo was going towards, because I assumed it was going towards the website. And sure, I'm not an expert web developer, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, my own author website has been offline for a couple weeks now as I try to make it look nicer and kind of fix some of the glitches that are wrong with it. But it just doesn't seem like a website as simple as NaNoWriMo would cost that much to upkeep. I mean, the most extensive part of the website was the forums, and they kind of got rid of that after the whole initial incident. At least that's just something I'm questioning out loud. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is NaNoWriMo is shutting down, and while I have had a lot of positive memories participating in NaNoWriMo, and while I still think I might do NaNoWriMo on my own this November, I think it's for the best that this organization is done. Sure, I got a lot of videos talking about all the NaNoWriMo controversies, but to be honest, I'm pretty glad I won't be having to do another one. These have been my thoughts on NaNoWriMo's announcement that it'll be shutting down. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Also, if you haven't already, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate all your support. Good luck on your writing journey. I'll see you in the next video. Also, if you want to know more about the NaNoWriMo controversy that I briefly touched upon on this video, I highly recommend you check out these two videos. Note, I've come a long way as a YouTuber since I made the blue one, but the information is good, and if you want to see what my videos used to look like before I got not good at this, but better at this, be sure to check it out. Or you know what? It's kind of embarrassing. On second thought, I'm going to leave it there, but don't check it out.